Hello, everyone. My name is Braden. This is Airless Cool 9, and in today's video, we are going to talk about commoners. So, yeah, these are the everyday folk, and I have actually included the snippet here about them because it does have a list of things here. So, we are going to talk about this real quick. So, commoners constitute the majority of people who don't pursue magical talents, extraordinary training, or a life of adventure. Some are generous, helpful sorts, while others are more cautious in sharing what they have. We can use the following list of jobs and roles to introduce commoners into our adventures. And this is a extensive list. Here we have artist, baker, bartender, blacksmith, butcher, captive, carpenter, castaway, cobbler, cook, dyer, farmer, fisher, fletcher, flim-flam artist, gossip, hermit, hooligan, hunter, innkeeper, laborer, lamplighter, mason, merchant, miner, mudlark, patient, pilgrim, resurrectionist, rioter, scribe, servant, shepherd, student, tailor, tanner, town crier, weaver, and youngster. So, yeah, a lot of suggestions here to help you make a commoner. And this is a very simple stat block because this is, as I said before, the everyday folk. These are just normal people that you will encounter on the course of any adventure. The commoner is just a very simple stat block to use because they don't really have any combat potentials. These are just ordinary people living out their daily lives. The stat block itself has seen some changes though, so we are going to talk about this in a little bit of length. So here we go. So the commoner is a medium or small humanoid. It is neutral. It has an armor class of 10 and initiative of +0. They have 4 hit points, a speed of 30 feet. For their ability scores, they have 10s across the board in strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. They do not have any saving throw proficiencies, no skills. They do have gear because they have a club which they can use if they really need to. For their senses, they have a passive perception of 10. For languages, they know common, and the commoner is a challenge rating 0 creature, which means it only is going to grant 10 experience points, and it has a proficiency bonus of +2. However, the commoner does have a trait available to it. This is called training. This says that the commoner has proficiency in one skill of the DM's choice and has advantage whenever it makes an ability check using that skill. And then finally, for its actions, the commoner does have that club from its gear section, and this is a melee attack roll with a +2 to hit, a reach of 5 feet, and it deals 1d4 bludgeoning damage on a hit. So yeah, that's the commoner in a nutshell. So let's talk about what has changed from 2014. And there are some things to talk about here. So first off is that addition of the gear section in the stat block. I mean, of course, the old commoner did have a club attack, so that has not changed here, but they have added in that small section just so you know, as the dungeon master, that were one of your players to kill a commoner, they do have a club on them which they could take if they so choose. Another interesting change here is that for languages, common has been selected here. Beforehand, it used to say any one language, usually common. So that is a small change here. However, if your commoner is not a human or for some reason would not know common, you, of course, as the dungeon master, can swap this out for another language, or if you want to, give them an additional language if they're something extravagant, like, for example, a dragonborn or an Azamar or a tiefling or a Goliath, just something that would know an additional language, at least in your eyes. You can give them that additional language that fits what race they are or what species. So yeah, that's perfectly fine to do that. But really, the most interesting addition here is this training trait. So this is pretty interesting because it now allows the commoner to have proficiency in one skill of your choice, and that commoner has advantage when it makes that ability check using that skill. So I think what this really helps with is just make sure that that commoner fits the specific role that you have assigned to it, whether it is an artist or a baker or a bartender, etc. You can give them one skill proficiency to meet that skill set, and since they have advantage with it as well, they are going to be good with it. So yeah, they're going to have a +2 to that specific skill and advantage when they make an ability check using that skill. So that is just going to make sure that that commoner is good in that particular skill. And I do like the addition of this trait. I think it fits a lot for the commoner and making sure that it fits a specific role when beforehand it really wouldn't have without you adding some additional things to the stat block. So this really just helps narrow it out more and give it a little bit more oomph than it had before. And yeah, this is really just some flavor to help you add some varying details to your specific commoners. And yeah, I really like this change. Honestly, this is pretty good. Of course, it's just a challenge rating 0 stat block, so there's not a whole lot going here, and I didn't expect them to do much with it. But it is nice to see that they added one additional thing here for the commoner to have, and honestly, it's a pretty good change because it does expand on what that commoner can do, and it can help them fit the role that you assign to them as the dungeon master. So yeah, that's going to be it for the commoner. So thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. We will have a video about copper dragons tomorrow, so keep an eye out for that video. And we have a new video for the 2024 Monster Manual every weekday, so just keep an eye out for those. Until then, thank you all for watching, and I will catch you all in the next one. See you later.